Hey, Sag. Let's see what we got going on for you. Cut across for Sag. Messages for Sag. Messages that they should know, that they need to know, that they don't know. That will help them onto their highest path. Page of Coins. Well, pages or coins are messages about money. Thing is, it's slow coming. Maybe you're trying to find a way to make some kind of money, or you're dealing with some kind of business or job, and you're not making the kind of money that you hoped, or something is slow coming, or you're not making the kind of money that you feel that you deserve to, or you feel tight in your finances somehow. 6 of Coins. Your issue. Your main issue that you're dealing with is somebody that, who gives to get. Who gives with some kind of agenda. Or maybe you've had issues with people being fair to you in some kind of way. Or charitable in some kind of way. Or anytime you felt like they were charitable in some kind of way, it always came with some hidden agenda behind it. It was a way to manipulate you, or get in your good graces, or promise you something that they didn't have any plans to deliver. You felt like maybe even people weren't there for you very much. Yeah, it's you gave to the point of depletion, possibly. Maybe you even thought that you would have people at your back somehow because you've given and you never really seemed that much back. Maybe even loaned out some kind of money and you've never had it returned or paid back. And now that you offered, or you were charitable in some kind of way, nobody was there for you to help you out in that kind of way. The foundation is an end. It's a death and a transformation of something. Maybe a death and transformation into giving to get with some kind of expectation, or giving out to people who only kind of just took. Maybe you're done with people kind of taking advantage of you in some kind of way. And you're putting an end to being overgiving. Oh. Or somebody around you here was being manipulative in some kind of way. They were offering you something with some kind of agenda, because they thought they would get something in particular in return. Maybe think that was in a way in for you or towards you, or in a way in to get what they want from you in some kind of way. As a way to get the foot in the door. But it's like you've seen some kind of manipulation. And, maybe a lot of people in your life have played this game, and you were able to spot that out real quick. In the past, 4 of Clubs, you had some kind of security, some happiness, but you had to stop to some kind of charity or generosity, or You stopped giving too much out, or so much out that you weren't getting any in return. Maybe in the past that you've overgave in the past because of people that you cared and loved, and now you're in some kind of financial bind, and nobody was really there for you. And when you were doing well, you were more than happy to give, thinking that, hey, oh, this person would get me back, or this person would, you know, be around when I needed them. And, you know, it wasn't that way at all. These people that took from you. And you're done with overgiving because maybe at the time you were financially secure, or, you know, you were secure in some kind of way. So it wasn't really much of a thought to give, and it wasn't much of a thought for people to kind of take until you had issues. And you're doing a whole new overhaul. You're changing things because of it, because you see that, you know, you're putting a done to self-serving people and one-sided situations, especially that you hope that they would be there for you the way that you were there for them. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And now you are out of finances, kind of having trouble with your finances. And you kind of see the people the way they were. They were always there to, you know, act like they were there for you, had their hand out. You know, you were thinking that these people were there for you. They had your back. They were your family. They were your friends. But, you know, they took what they could, and then they ran. And although it was painful for you, it definitely helped transform you into seeing who was good for you and what was good for you and who was just kind of using you. You know, it did give you strength, but it did change you. And perhaps, you know, you were either, you know, they could call it naive or optimistic, or just, you know, over caring and over loving, and you kind of found out who they were. Because when you needed them and when you're needed it, you're in a financial bind. Nobody's around. Maybe you're thinking about how to make some kind of money, how to bring in some kind of income, and because it looks like you're kind of on your own as usual. I mean, although it gave you strength, it definitely was a death to that optimistic side of you. In the future, the Hierophant could be dealing with a Taurus, or have someone Taurus within their chart. This is someone who is stoic, someone who's learned, knowledgeable, spiritual. They know things about organizations, organized in a spiritual way. Religion, government, military, society. This transformation, it made you a lot more knowledgeable. A lot more stoic. And it made you be more aware of people's nature around you. How you see yourself, Knight of Clubs. You're moving away. You know that whatever situation that this is, no matter what relationship that this is, it could be a job, relationship, a job in the government, military. Maybe you could be moving, or leaving fast behind these people who kind of took as much as they wanted from you and then left you abandoned. It's like, I kind of feel like, damn, all that I did for you, all that I've done, and now all that they were thinking about was how they could make more money off of you. And maybe this is family members that you felt like used you, or took advantage of you, or took what they can and gave little back. And you're making sure that you're keeping a good distance away from them, because although it made you grow and learn, you know, it was a hard realization and awakening. Maybe people around you were trying to get back into your good graces in some kind of way, offering you very tiny trinkets to try to get back in, thinking, oh yeah, this person is out. This person is in need in some kind of way, and so maybe I could just offer them something because I could get something in return too. And it's like, you saw this. You were aware of this, and it made you a brick wall. It's like, no, I know, I learned, and I'm not going to let you do this shit to me again. And after all I've did and I've given to you, now you want me to give more to, you know, more of my extended family when all of those bitches screwed me over? This could be somebody in the military that's kind of moving away to the next station. And you're no longer giving to a situation anymore. You put an end to it because, like, this, you gave until you were depleted. And you decided to be a little more stoic, a little more learned into people's human nature, how people see you as the Three of Coins. That you could be seeking out some kind of advice with other people. Maybe they see you as talking with other people, consulting with other people, or working with somebody else. And or they want to work with you. Of course they want to work with you because they gave a lot. You gave a lot, and they got a lot. Maybe they even put you in a situation where they guilted you or expected you to always fix things and take care of things, and you kind of just accepted that role. You were an overgiver in a situation because they kind of expected you to be that way. And now they saw you when you're down and out, and then they're like, oh, maybe I could use this. Maybe I could offer them something so I could get what I want. Like maybe this is like a creepy ass friend who has a thing for you and you have no interest in them, but they see that you're having money trouble and they're like, oh, well, we could work something out. It's like, gross. No, thank you. And perhaps they kind of kept on, they kind of acted like, you know, oh, but I just want to help. I want to be helpful. But really, is they saw some kind of weakness in you, or they saw some kind of need in you, and then they were trying to manipulate you. But you saw this right away, and so you put an end to this. Your goal is to be strong, to persevere towards this time of being depleted. And although you don't really know how, you hope for better luck, a change in the wheel. Maybe you were hanging around the wrong kind of people and they were blocking your luck and your destiny. Maybe this was needed in order if you got taken in some kind of way. Maybe you had a habit of giving to get in some kind of way, thinking that they will do that in return, but then you realize that they're not that kind of people, and you shouldn't give expecting anything in return, because this is what these people kind of did. But I'm not even sure if you kind of done it with maliciously. You just kind of looked at it with what's right. But then they used whatever they were trying to give to you as a form of trying to control you, with an expectation behind it, and kind of like an abuse of power kind of way. And they would try to throw that into your face. Well, I was going to do this for you. Well, I did this for you. Now I expect you to be here when I tell you to, or show up when I tell you to. But you're like, and you know, they were trying to elicit some kind of control from you. Or, you know, if you have those kind of like narky family members who would like, you kind of gray rock them, and then they would come around and they would give you food every once in a while out of the blue. But it's really just leading you up to, like, you know, their ask, what they really want, why they're really showing up to kind of give you this little trinkets after this whole time they were taking from you and took as much as they could from you. But they want to give you like these tiny little trinkets, these breadcrumbs, because they know that you're down and out. Whoa, well, now that I know that you're down and out, maybe I could use this to advantage. You're like, nope. I see this now. I'm going to put an end towards it. Somebody wants to work with you. But you're hoping for a better, like a turn of the wheel, better luck. You're hoping that there's less manipulative people who's just trying to get something by trying to give you small trinkets and, you know, have some hidden agenda. The outcome with whatever and whoever you're dealing with is Ace of Clubs in reverse. You have no passion for this. You never did. This could be some friend or somebody that's interested in you that you told that you weren't interested at all. But then they kind of saw that you were down and out, and they try to use it to their advantage. But then you saw it. You're like, no, I'm done. I'm good. I have no passion for this. You could have even been going towards some kind of business, but you feel like all of this money is slow coming. And you're starting to feel discouraged. Sagittarius, you have no passion for this. You could be dealing with a mother figure, or or someone with Earth in their chart, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. Or you could be a mother and you're defensive. You're done being wounded by these people, by these situations, because now you're left in the shit, and who's there to help you? And especially now that you have nothing to give. But then they were definitely trying to be around when you had a bunch of stuff, and then they still try to come around. Like, let's say if you had a home or a business, and you had these family members or friends who would always try to take a chunk of your energy, expect some kind of money from you, and now that you actually are in the need, nobody's around. And you're like, no, I got to take care of myself. I got to take care of my own home, my own family. I know you expect all of this stuff from me, but it's unwarranted, and maybe you even had a falling out or a fight because they try to pull some kind of manipulation, but you saw right through it and you had a very strong reaction towards it. Like, let's say in a situation like now that you have that home that you are having trouble paying the mortgage with, or that job or that business you try to start and money is slow in coming in. They still try to come back around and try to be like, oh, you have to sell your mortgage, or you might have to sell your place because you can't pay your mortgage. Well, your sister who treats you like shit, who attacks you, who steals from you, she's a real estate agent now, so why don't you give her a call so then she could make more money off of you after these bitches did everything that they could to get money off of you. And there was never a time where they didn't have their hand out. And if they, even when they were giving money from you, they still treated you like shit. They still try to use it in the way of using you, like you should be grateful that what you allowed them to take what they could from you, and then they give you a bunch of breadcrumbs. This is breadcrumbing. Thinking that they would be there for you. Were they ever there for you? No. Because like you're done. You're done being totally used, or you're done being totally like taken for a ride. This is the Knight of Clubs. This is the wounded warrior. No, I'm down. I'm wounded. You know what I need. It's all the shit that I gave to you and the support that I gave to you, bastards. And now, like, you want to come back around giving me all of this, like, a meal every once in a while after all of this time that you took me for a ride. And now you're just trying to set it up for, so your other extended family members could make more money off of you when you're already tapped out and they were never there for you. You're like, nah, I'm going to have to put this strength up, and I'm not going to freaking work with this. I have no desire to work with you people. I have no desire to work with somebody that I have no interest in, and they weren't reading your cues, but then yet they still kept on trying. They saw that you had a weak moment, that you're out, down and out, and they try to manipulate you, thinking that they could buy you in some kind of way. You could have been dealing with a Taurus, and you're like, dude, no, I can't, I'm not going to be bought. It's, yeah, I'm down and out. Yeah, I don't have everything that I need. And yeah, when I was doing well, I gave all to you bitches, but where were you? And now you're trying to take more from me? Nah, hell no. I'm not. You can't work with me again. I don't want to work with you again unless you're here to try to give me an actual handout without expecting shit in return. Then I don't want it. I don't want it. I have no passion for it. I don't want it. You're hoping for something better, a better turn of the wheel. And you fear that it might not even happen. Or you fear that even if you do get something good, that these freaking parasites will come back in and try to take everything that you got. Because they had before. Because they saw that need. It's shitty. Sometimes the people that you're there for the most, you've realized how much that they really fucked with you, or they were there for you the moment that you actually needed them to be there. And it is hurtful and it's sad, and I understand that. I'm sorry you got to go through that. But it did give you a strength, and it did give you a transformation, and this transformation and these endings that you put within yourself gave you a strength. And now you have no desire to be anywhere around these people. I get it. I get it. I wouldn't either. And I get it. I've been in this situation. Currently in this situation now. You could be dealing with a Scorpio, a Taurus, a Pisces, well, Sag, that's you, a Leo. But I feel like you feel discouraged. Like all of the life energy has been rolled out of you. And you kind of feel defeated at the moment. Maybe a little sad and disappointed, but nothing that you're not used to, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Sag. I feel that. In the past, whatever stability that you did have, they were hostile against it. And that's why they felt entitled to take from you. They were hostile of whatever stability that you had because they felt like you didn't deserve it, or they did, or they should be doing better than you in some kind of way. So they had no issue in taking. You could have been dealing with a mother figure, or you're a mother figure. And you had this kind of shared home or shared finances at the time. Maybe you had some agreement with this mother figure in some kind of way. It could have been mother, sister, wife. You know, someone who was a mother themselves. And yeah, you're supposed to work together. There's supposed to be some kind of stability. But they hated you for it. And they were defensive for it because it made them feel uncomfortable. But now that you're down and out, now that they could put that over on you in some kind of way, like they're better now in some kind of way. And they're still just thinking about them like they always did. Because even though you try to work together because you're supposed to help each other out, all they did was sabotage you. Whatever sadness or aggression or jealousy they felt because you were doing okay at the time, they did everything that they could to sabotage you. To block your progress in some kind of way, like it hurt them emotionally. And maybe they try to disturb your peace a lot and throw up these kind of sabotaging ways, or make you late for work in some kind of way if they're supposed to watch your kid, or you know, disappear the moment you're supposed to leave and there's no one to watch your kid. And now these people come back around when you're down and out, now that you might have to sell your place or, you know, give up on your business and dreams. And they're like, oh, well, you should call your family member who totally treated you like shit and took from you. And they could make money off of you now. You're like, hell no. Like, who do you think you are? You took as much money as you could from me. And now look, you're thinking about how I could feed the rest of you bitches. Where were you? Where were any of you when I needed you? The thing is, maybe you went into something or you made some kind of decisions and you didn't think it through all that much. And now you're kind of in a bind. It could be financially. And if it's some kind of job or business that you thought that you would be making really good money, that things are slow coming and slow going. You felt like you made a wrong choice. Or maybe they think that you did. Because you felt like in the past that you didn't think things through enough. Or maybe they feel this of you. And now that you're not financially sound, and now that they have this expectation for you to feed everybody else, and maybe there is a blowout because of it, now you're just like, no, I'm going to block all of this. You ended up on your own, trying to build your own happiness and abundance, dealing with a lot of hostility around you. And you just wanted to change. You just wanted to get out of this, out of a hell. And then maybe somebody saw this. They saw a weakness or a need in you, and then they kind of offered you something, but it was a way to try to hold some kind of power over you. They could have had Taurus within their chart, but it's giving to get. It's giving with some kind of ulterior motive and agenda. It's giving you something with the expectation that they could rule over you, and they were using these finances against you in some kind of way to use you and to control you like a puppet, and they actually felt entitled to. Now they want to come in and work with you, offer you something. Maybe this Taurus wants to come in and offer you something. They offered you some kind of small trinket, thinking that that was enough to buy you. And you're like, no, I'm ready for a new cycle. Yeah, you want to work with me. I don't want to work with you because I know what it's like to work with you. You screw me over. Now, third chakra, this is the solar plexus. It's below the chest to represent self-esteem, pleasure, willpower, and personal responsibility. Maybe you need more personal responsibility and willpower to power this through, to be able to reach some kind of fortune. Maybe you've been in some kind of anxiety or depression and like a fear because like you are not used to being kind of in balance or financially in lack in some kind of way, and it threw you off balance. And or the fact that you worked really hard at something, or you haven't worked enough, and or maybe you have worked a lot but it just didn't give you the results that you want, and now you're seriously considering like, what am I going to do for money? Maybe I need to be more structured. Maybe I got to put in the work more. Maybe I got to have more willpower and perseverance and personal responsibility. Maybe you always kind of thought the best of people and you wanted to give them a benefit of the doubt. And maybe it's like, if you knew who they were before, you were hopeful at the time that things would change. And it's like, well, they kind of showed you who they were over and over again, and they still continue to do so. And although it's typical, it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. But maybe you could use this to fuel you a bit more. Yep, that's what I saw. In the past, people were hostile that you had balance, that you had security. And maybe they did a lot of mean and spiteful shit to you because of it, and sabotage you because of the envy that they felt, because they felt like they didn't have enough, or they were so concerned with what you have and your stability, and they were envious of it, and they were hostile of it, and they didn't want you to be balanced because it makes them feel powerful and like they could hold something over you in some kind of way. It could make them hold you back or trip you up into second guessing yourself, into bringing some kind of confusion or imbalance. And now maybe there's a sense of resentfulness towards people who didn't show up for you the way that you showed up for them. But you're focusing a lot on what you don't have, and it's bringing you some kind of indecision of what should I do next. Maybe I don't have enough, and it's making you feel like there's some lack mentality going on. But there could be an end of this if you have the strength to do so. Maybe there's a reworking that you have to do. Maybe to pay for that mortgage, you need a roommate, or, you got to rent it out and get a smaller place, or maybe you do have to sell. Maybe the fact that you weren't getting money coming in and thinking that you did. Now it made you discouraged and made you lose passion to keep going forward because you weren't seeing the results that you wanted or you needed. But here's a way to get some balance, is to put in some more power, willpower, have strength in your abilities, putting the work in and taking some responsibility to do so. Because they were envious of you in the past, and maybe they try to shake your confidence in a way so they could keep you stuck, because they felt like when you were in balance, that was the best way to control you or get from you. And yeah, people came around wanting to work with you. They wanted to offer you something, but you know what? It's like they always had a hidden agenda, and it was always just to hold you back. So because they didn't like you being stable, they wanted to control you, and that's the way that they controlled you, because they felt that need And I feel like this isn't in just a family situation or family. This was also a love interest in some kind of way, or somebody who was interested in you that you had no interest in them. And it's like people just didn't listen. If this person was a love interest around you as well, it's like they kept on trying to put in their will upon you. And it's like, yeah, you told me you weren't interested, but if as long as I am bullheaded about it and I'm pushy about it, I could get what I want. And they had little concern with your feelings or emotions. And they're like, oh, well, you need money, right? Well, I could just give you this, or if you want this or this kind of help, I expect you to do this for me, or I expect you to do this in return. And it had little to do with the way that you felt about it, just as long as they got what they wanted out of the deal. And you know what? It was someone trying to abuse or the control. And they were trying to be over controlling and over pushy, and it led to a broken heart or a broken situation. It's a person who's just kind of manipulative, and they had some kind of like designs for you or romance for you or, you know, interest in you. But they try to control you instead of like listening to you if that's what you really want, because what you really want didn't really factor into it. It's always what they wanted. You have a bunch of selfish, bullheaded people around you who really only cares about what they want. And the only time that they offer something is when they expect shit in return. And if they offer something, it's really just like a car salesman thing. Hey, I'll give you a good deal. I'll give you, this is on sale. Oh, why don't you take it? But then you buy it and it's all fucked up. It's all broken. It's like you bought a lemon of a car that they sold you. And they were acting like they were doing you a favor, and they knew the car was fucked up. And yeah, it led to heartbreak because you saw it intuitively. You were able to see it, and you see it now. And they're still trying to play their old tricks. Trying to work with you again, offer you some kind of, oh, this is like a new cycle. This is different now. Nope, it's not different. It never was. But the way that you're going to make a change is by moving away from this. And if this was somebody in your life that you've kind of blocked out for a while and they started coming around again, did you kind of notice at the same time that things started going wrong? Because people that have this fucked up karma or this kind of like negativity around them, it rubs off on you. People get rich by being in your presence, because then it's like all of this shit and their badass karma, like it comes rubbing off of you and things go wrong. That tells you this is not a person to mess with. And I think you figured this out. This person figured out that whenever they're around you, that things go better for them. And I think you figured out whenever this person is around you, things get worse from you. Because one, they're trying to sabotage you to make sure that you're stuck so they could keep some kind of control over you. And two, they're the car salesman continually trying to get shit from you that like benefits them with little concern on how it affects you in the end. Feel like you walking away from this is going to bring you balance. You focusing on yourself is going to bring you balance. They see you working with you as like the garden at the gate, that they're on the outside looking in. And because you were a blessing for them to have around, because their life was better, because then they benefited from you. And your life is going to benefit from it, from moving the hell away from them. If your life gets messed up, if you start having financial issues, when this person started to come around, that tells you something. That they're trying to put some kind of control over you, or just trying to implant some negativity in you, or they're trying to use you in some kind of way. And universe has a way to come in and kind of show you flashes of that, of who this person is. Look at your life. Is it better or worse that they're around? And now every time you deal with these people, you feel like you're farther away from your goal than you ever were, but that was actually their intention. It was. They saw you as fortunate and balanced, but they still try to be pushy about it and try to get just what they wanted. And maybe you are seeing some people trying to get some kind of advice or wanted to work with people. And maybe you wanted to have some kind of acceptance or love in some kind of way, which left you to overgive because you always felt like you weren't appreciated or loved. And you were always on the outside looking in, thinking, well, if I worked with these people, it would be different. If I gave to these people, they would love me more. I'm sorry, Sag. I don't know why I'm having a reaction towards this, or maybe I do. But this is the way you're going to get your luck back and your destiny back and your balance back, by moving away from these people, focusing back on yourself and taking personal responsibility. If you do need to make those money plans, it's something that you got to do now. And don't ever let people feel that you're not good enough, that you have to overdo and overgive in order for someone to accept you, because that's a way that they did to control you. Maybe this weird, creepy person that you had no interest in you, maybe they had a way of like shooting you some kind of passive aggressive insults along with a compliment. You know, the creepy kind of bullshit, like the pickup artist where they say something really fucking rude to you and it's like, oh, well, you know, like, I guess, like, I guess you know, like, well, I guess, wow, you gained a lot of weight. Oh, but don't worry, I love you. You know, it's like just kind of that kind of crap. Or, oh, yeah, I think you could do really well, but you could work on your vocabulary. But, yeah, I think you could do well, because you don't have a lot of a very good vocabulary to do what you want to do. Kind of like silently undermining you. Sowing seeds of doubt. Making you feel like you weren't good enough, that you have to overdo and overgive, and you needed these people. It's like learned codependency that these people try to inflict upon you. But you're going to get balance walking away from this. I don't know, should I? Let me get advice. Advice from the universe. Isolate from yourself from these people. Maybe all of this isolation made you a little overindulgent. Maybe you've been overindulging in some kind of way because of having to always do it on your own, so you find ways to escape. And maybe you need some forgiveness, and it's not like you have to forgive these people if you're not ready to. I'm not saying that, but maybe it's forgiving yourself for dealing with these kind of people or falling for their tricks in the past. Or at least understanding that they were broken in some kind of way, or that they felt like they needed you to be below them in some kind of way. But just being more understanding of the situation would open the door for some kind of forgiveness. Maybe after this blowout, if you had it with a mother or, this person who would try to exert some kind of control around over you, or maybe both. Maybe now that they want some kind of forgiveness. Because maybe now that you cut them off or you exploded at them because you are hurt. Maybe it made them kind of like look at themselves or the past situation. Now that they're on the outside looking in. And now that they have their fortune and balance. And you're here trying to work things out. Still on the outside looking in. Maybe you need that forgiveness within yourself. Or maybe a little understanding towards this situation. And stop hating yourself for falling for the tricks because they left you perpetually on the outside looking in. But that's what I got for you, Sag. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Be sure to put that like button in if you feel moved to do so, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.